Good morning. First, I want to apologize to those who found the early video, pardon me, for this meditation because it was the wrong video, as some of you have told us. So mistakes do happen, and we apologize. So the theme here is about the bigger question of how religion has treated sexuality through the centuries. And it has not always been favorable. But if you go back to the Jewish tradition, there is a much more favorable, positive attitude towards sexuality than you get in the Neoplatonic tradition, which so influenced St. Augustine, who in turn so influenced the Western church, especially because he came along at the time that the empire and the church married. Pardon me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. So we find ourselves having to undo this negative attitude toward our bodies that Augustine truly incarnated. It was he who said, spirit is whatever is not matter. That is an ultimate statement of dualism and of distrust of matter, and indeed throwing matter under the bus. And it's utterly non-Jewish. He also, in his theory on original sin, a term which he was the first to use in the 4th century, 400 years after Jesus, who never heard the term, because no Jew has heard of the term, he actually equates original sin with our sexuality, with our concupiscence. That too is a terrible mark on the Western church, that we've hung around Augustine's teaching on sexuality. And a teaching on gender is equally deficient. He says that man, but not woman, is made in the image and likeness of God. He was not alone in this attitude. So there are real issues around gender and sexuality that Western society and Western religion still has to grapple with. And Elie Wiesel, a great Jewish saint, once said that the idea of original sin is alien to Jewish thinking. Alien, that's a very strong word. Not only is it not in the Bible, but it is alien. It introduces a doubt about our bodies and about our right to be here and about the blessing that our existence is and our bodies are. And I would say all our chakras, including our second chakra, which is our sexuality, all of it is a blessing. And anyone who says otherwise is speaking alien to Jesus' tradition and therefore to Jesus' teaching, because Jesus was a Jew and he saw the world through the eyes of his culture and spiritual tradition. Now, there's another dimension to abortion that I think needs to be talked about and very rarely is. And that is the importance of rituals for those who have undergone abortions. Let me say it again. The importance of rituals for those who have undergone abortions, rituals or ceremonies. At our University of Creation Spirituality, one of our visiting teachers was Dr. Clarissa Pincola Estes, a wonderful human being and a wonderful scholar, a wonderful philosopher, and gatherer of great stories from the indigenous peoples. And she volunteered to offer a ritual for women who had undergone abortions. And she did that in our program. It was obviously optional. And many women underwent that ritual and were very moved by it. I think we need more rituals like this. This is a gift that the churches could be offering. I know I was once doing a retreat at Big Sur, the retreat center there. And a woman came up to me and she she wanted to talk, and she wanted to talk about her abortion experience. And in talking about it, we also did a little ritual. And I think it's very important because all the relationships of our lives and all the big decisions in our lives deserve to be ritualized. That is to say, to be treated not just in terms of what's right, what's wrong, or in terms of getting something done and trying to forget it, put it behind us, or remembering it, or it haunting us or not haunting us, taking it too lightly. All these important issues in life, or deep relationships and deep decisions, deserve to be remembered in some way, in a ritualistic or ceremonial way. And so I think this is a big invitation to ministers and priests of all denominations, and rabbis and imams, that there be opportunities for people to undergo rituals apropos of abortion. And it doesn't have to be just a person who has abortion who would be present. It may be their spouse and friends and relatives. It's not just about, oh, you had an abortion, so you're going to get a ritual. No, it's about all of us dealing with this question deeper than the question of politics and Supreme Court decisions and Texas legislative decisions. Let's go deeper where the spirituality lies. Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.